Hello and welcome to today's Bible study, and we are in 1 Kings and this is chapter 15. Alright. Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, reigned Abijam over Judah. 3 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maachah, the daughter of Abishalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him. Oh, of course. Jeroboam just got knocked off, as did Rehoboam, both of the kings of the north and the south of Israel. And now his son is walking in the same path. His heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father. Again, still being compared to David. I mean, the only king that is going to be better than David, by the sounds of it here, is Jesus. So we're waiting for our perfect king, who is soon to be coming back. But until this point, everyone was compared to David. Nevertheless, for David's sake did the Lord his God give him a lamp in Jerusalem, to set up his son after him, and to establish Jerusalem. What a gracious God! Despite him being just as bad as his father, walking in all these sins, he still made sure that he had a dynasty. Because David did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, and turned not aside from anything he commanded him all the days of his life, save only in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Right. So this was, I'm still upset about this sin as well, but aren't we all? We look back and find something that we didn't like. So because of David being so loyal, he said it was only the fact that he killed Bathsheba's husband so he could have Bathsheba was something that God was just like, no, I can't. But everything else, he was very loyal and repentant. And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days of his life. Now the rest of the acts of Abijam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was a war between Abijam and Jeroboam. And Abijam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. And Asa his son reigned in his stead. So that was a quick turnaround. Rehoboam's son Abijam was just as bad, as we can see. I'm going to put regarding idolatry and other things, I'm sure. What else can we see here? So David sinned but was repentant. And to be fair to David, he never took part in idolatry. Never took part in idolatry. He never worshipped other gods. He never got Israel to worship other gods, even though some did. He was very loyal to God. And in fact, as we see in verse 4, the whole point, for David's sake, the whole point that God even permitted the royal line of David was because of David. So the only reason they're still able to reign on the throne was because of David. So that's loyalty and faithfulness of the Lord. And Abijam also, Solomon's son Abijam, was at war with Jeroboam, and he only reigned for 3 years. I'll put here 3-year reign, very short-lived. So still very hostile between both kingdoms. Okay. And the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, reigned Asa over Judah. And 41 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Maachah, the daughter of Abishalom. And Asa did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, as did David his father. Yay! Finally! And he took away the Sodomites out of the land and removed all the idols that his father had made. Yes! Happy days. And also Maacah his mother, even her, he removed from being queen because she had made an idol in a grove, and Asa destroyed her idol and burnt it by the brook of Kidron. Wow! That's a big deal, because many people choose people and relationships with people over what's right with God too. So it's interesting that he was even willing to take his own mother off the throne because of her idolatry. Brilliant. Even took his own mother off the throne for the Lord. But high places were not removed. Nevertheless, Asa's heart was perfect with the Lord all his days. Yes, I like to hear that. And he brought in the things which his father had dedicated, and the things which himself had dedicated, into the house of the Lord, silver and gold and vessels. So Asa is now Abijam's son. He was a good king. And he reigned for 41 years in Jerusalem. 41-year reign. Similar to the previous kings, aside from Abijam, who only did 3 years. The previous ones are all about 40 years too. Yeah, both David and Solomon did 40, I think. So he did a little bit. So yeah, unfortunately he didn't get rid of the high places where they were doing the worshipping, but at least he was devoted to the Lord, and in a way he was like a bright light of truth in Judah. Let's keep reading. And there was war between Asa and Baasha king of Israel all their days. And Baasha king of Israel went up against Judah and built Ramah, that he might not suffer any to go out or come in to Asa king of Judah. So it's built some kind of fort here. Could be trying to isolate the southern kingdom and stop traffic between the two nations. Trying to isolate the southern kingdom. Then Asa took all the silver and the gold that were left in the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house, and delivered them into the land of his servants. And King Asa sent them to Ben-Hadad, the son of Tabrimon, the son of Zion, king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, There is a league between me and thee, and between thy father and my father and thy father. Behold, I have sent unto thee a present of silver and gold. Come back and break thy league with Baasha king of Israel, that they may depart from me. So Ben-Hadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of the hosts which he had against the cities of Israel, and smote Ijon and Dan and Abel-Beth-Maachah, and all Cinneroth with all the land of Naphtali. And it came to pass, when Baasha heard thereof, that he left building of Ramah, and dwelt in Zerkah. Then King Asa made a proclamation throughout all Judah, none was exempted, and they took away the stones of Ramah and the timber thereof, wherewith Baasha had been builded, and King Asa built with them Geba of Benjamin and Mizpah. So here, instead of turning to the Lord for help, he emptied the treasuries of the temple, all the silver, all the gold, anything of value in there, and he went to bribe and persuade Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, to break his treaty and work and be an ally of his, to put pressure on Judah. So this isn't ideal. Instead of turning to the Lord, he went and bribed king of Aram to break his treaty, to help him fight. And he took God's treasures. Not nice. But he agreed, the king of Aram, and he attacked Israel from the north. So Ben-Hadad hearkened to the king. So he agreed, attacked, took some territory, and then he took the fort that was built down and built his own towns, Geba and Mizpah, that were for defense. So tore down the fort, built his own, trying to make things happen on his own. The rest of all the acts of Asa and all his might and all that he did and the cities which he built, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah? Nevertheless, in the time of his old age he was diseased in his feet, and Asa slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father, and Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead. So Asa was faithful to the Lord. He had a good heart for him, and although he didn't do everything perfectly, he was then succeeded by Jehoshaphat. So we've gone through a lot. We've gone through 2 kings in half a chapter already. Things move quickly here. Let's keep going. And Nadab, the son of Jeroboam, began to reign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned over Israel 2 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of his father in his sin, wherewith he made Israel to sin. That's the issue, isn't it? It's the effect they have, these kings have, on the entire kingdom. And Baasha, the son of Ahijah of the house of Issachar, conspired against him, and Baasha smote him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines, for Nadab and all Israel laid siege to Gibbethon. Okay, so we've just heard the accounts of King Asa and Jehoshaphat that ruling over Judah, and now we're looking at the northern kingdom of Israel. So we've got Nadab, who's son of Jeroboam, and he only reigned for 2 years. A 2-year reign. It's interesting, so both the immediate sons only had very short reigns. And he was assassinated quickly during a battle against the Philistines. And he was killed by Baasha, who then became king in his place. Baasha killed Nadab and took the throne. Even in the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, did Baasha slay him and reigned in his stead. He took his throne. And it came to pass when he reigned that he smote all the house of Jeroboam. He left not to Jeroboam any that breathed until he had destroyed him, according to the saying of the Lord, which he spake by his servant Ahijah the Shilonite, because of the sins of Jeroboam which he sinned, and which he made Israel sin, by his provocation wherewith he provoked the Lord God of Israel to anger. So Baasha, now king, he just carried on wiping out the entire family of Jeroboam, and that's because that's what the Lord said was judgment. So this is a prophecy coming true. Due to Jeroboam's sins of idolatry and leading Israel away from God. Heavy price. He is serious about these false idols. Okay. Now the rest of the acts of Nadab and all that he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And there was war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, all their days. We just got war after war after war between the 2 kingdoms. In the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, began Baasha the son of Ahijah to reign over all Israel in Tirzah 24 years, And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of Jeroboam and his sin, wherewith he made Israel to sin. So the lesson's just not being learnt. They're just not getting it. They're just not getting it. They saw what happened to Jeroboam, how God passed judgment and everyone was killed, yet it continues. So Baasha reigned 24 years, 24-year reign. But we knew it, well, to be fair, we expected this, because the way he got the throne wasn't exactly godly, was it? He killed the original king and took his throne, so hardly expecting godliness from that kind of behaviour. Not expecting godliness due to assassination. So in the same way that Judah's kings were compared to David, kings of Israel and Baasha, they were compared with Jeroboam as well, as an example of what not to do. Ooh, and we've reached the end, chapter 15. Wow, we went through a lot of kings in a short space of time here. And so far it was only Asa who had a good heart. Not perfect in his behaviour, but no one ever is. Even David, who God really loved and was loyal to, even he wasn't perfect, but it's the heart that God cares about. And Asa had the right heart, and he got rid of a lot of the idols, but was taken over by worse. Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we are in chapter 16, and I'm sure it's going to be eventful and exciting, because every chapter absolutely is. Thank you for joining me today. As always, please leave your own takeaways in the comments and I'll get back to you. And a lot of you are making me think of things that I hadn't thought of, I hadn't considered. So yeah, and previously yesterday, Ray pointed out in the comments there were 3 Ahijahs in chapter 14, which I didn't even pick up on. That would have confused me. There's so many Ahijah. There were 3 different characters called Ahijah in one chapter. I didn't even clock that. So yeah, thank you. Please point things out, even if they seem obvious. Please do point it out, because it might not be obvious to everyone. So yes, do appreciate your thoughts and takeaways and insights and comments and likes and subscribes, and any way that you support this channel is really greatly appreciated, and it really encourages me to keep going and keep inspired. So thank you for all you do. I hope this has been helpful and it has blessed you, and I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow, God willing, for chapter 16. Have a lovely day. Bye!